Hey guys, Bowie here, and this is 7.07's new technology, the magic damage Shadow Fiend of Sumail. Kinda like in the old patch, he was the first one that introduced the magic damage Ember, so it was a matter of time until this happened. After the second buff to raises, people were finally trying out the magic damage build. One thing to note here is that after the changes to TP scroll, heroes that rely too much on block like Shadow Fiend to have a good game are giving up on that early gold to make sure they can get those early last hits. Since Radiant support blocked mid pretty well though, we have an even match in terms of equilibrium. One thing that changed quite a lot how SF is played nowadays is that even though raised damage scales with levels, the amount of bonus per stack does not change. So even though Bloodseeker used to be quite decent against SF mid, because you couldn't actually output enough damage early on that he couldn't heal back, SF's power spike on level 2 is humongous now. As of now, you deal 400 damage at level 2 with your raises, and I mean you're against a Bloodseeker that amplifies the damage, which is an insane amount of damage in AoE to a hero that has pretty good early move speed to follow up. This completely changes how the enemy has to play around you, because unlike skills like Bristleback's Quills, where every stack is independent of each other, with SF's raises, as long as you hit another one during the 8-second duration of the buff, it's going to keep being refreshed and added. This makes the hero way better at dominating the lane before, even against the likes of Bloodseeker. In this clip we can see how Sumail wants to use the level 3 power spike to burst Bloodseeker. The first raise is used to start a counter and kill the creep that gives him level 3. With his range creep being alive, Bloodseeker is baited towards it, but Sumail thought that he didn't have enough damage. He forces the cell from the enemy, and with an arcane rune as well as a support rotation, he secures it. A full level 3 combo deals more than 600 damage, and with first item boots instead of Aquila or Bottle, he's able to easily pull it off with the support rotation. See how he goes for the short range on here so that he can set it up perfectly. Just crispy Sumail. What happens now is that a hero that usually would have full control of that lane has to rely on creep aggro and a lot of nuance to even stand a chance against Sumail. I'm quite positive there's no melee hero in the game that stands a chance against SF in lane now, and this translates in a lot of soul damage for SF. You couple that with lanes giving more gold than before, and denies and zoning enemies being even more important, and suddenly SF seems like a decent hero in some games. Look how hard it is for Bloodseeker to deal with that boot SF. Sumail keeps cancelling the animation time and time again when Bloodseeker can go for either a deny or last hit, and here we can see that he manages to secure both range creeps and hit Bloodseeker with one raise, and after that, the only play Bloodseeker has is to leave the lane for 8 seconds. He didn't knew that though, he gets greedy and he's just dead. Usually the raises don't feel as strong, even though they are very strong, but with Blood Rage and the fact that Bloodseeker has low HP, he just melts to the triple combo. All of that was possible due to some clarity fairing and going boots first. This gives you move speed advantage against pretty much every non-mobile mid hero, and it gives you free reign afterwards. The only time Bloodseeker is getting back to that lane is when Sumail decides that farming both lane and jungle is more effective than denying his farm, and he's fine for now. Actually, he pretty much doesn't farm the jungle. The new playstyle is completely different. Pay attention how bold he's playing here. A level 2 Shadow Shaman dies even if he controls Sumail with 2 disables because of how slow he is, and even the supports cannot leech resources from that lane anymore, and that's something that really hurts now since the lanes give so much. Sumail makes sure to dominate the lane without putting himself in risk, creating this overwhelming discrepancy of experience and farm between him and Bloodseeker. With the catapult wave coming, you can see how his playstyle changes. This is a lot of fights in the bottom lane, so he makes sure to turn his Aquila on and clear the wave so he deals as much damage as possible to the tower. While Bloodseeker is able to hold the push with these shenanigans, he pretty much gets none of that experience and he's still level 4 while Sumail is pretty much closing on level 8. I'm a big fan of him bringing the helm as the first item for Veil. He's doing quite well in the mana department, and against the likes of Bloodseeker, Monkey King, even Spirit Breaker having more armor and the HP regen is always welcomed against Bloodseeker. Another difference of this new SF from the old one is that he can get so many kills in any lane that rotating makes more sense than before. A double raise at max level now deals more damage than one Finger of Death, and that's in AoE, making it easy with any follow-up for Sumail to get kills. With bounty runes and runes being so close now, you actually regen the mana from the rotations easily if you go for the rotations close to rune time, as he does here, and since Sumail went for the first one by foot, he has enough time to TP here and get even more kills. The new SF is so strong at this point of the game that no one can come close to contest him. With Veil of Discord, your raise combo deals more damage than 1.1k after reductions, and that's in AoE. It's just insane how strong you are if you group up with your team. As of every SF game though, Sumail struggled in that mid game where the enemy gets some ults, you're a glass cannon, and it's as easy to die as it is to kill everyone. In this particular clip, we see some crazy technology coming from Sumail, and at the same time, why this hero feels so strong. Now that illusions don't instant die to Roshan anymore, you can lose illusion runes to tank Roshan or even your allies, and as of now, you can stack your raise counter on Roshan indefinitely, making it quite easy for him, with someone taking, to kill Roshan pretty fast. He gets charged though, so first let's watch how the fight unfolds. He makes sure to attack on agility and thread switch for most raises. And yeah, SF, if you're good at casting raises, is a monster right now. He sees Shadow Shaman here, he turns, casts the raise instantly, goes back to the other hero. He also goes for the amp talent. And pay attention how he approaches Roshan afterwards. He always uses 2 raises quite fast, but saves 1 to reset the counter, and he repeats. Suddenly he's dealing 500 damage per raise on Roshan, and that's easy ages for him. The Blink Dagger makes a lot of sense when you're going for this magic damage playstyle, since it allows you to position yourself perfectly for it, and it's also a way to disengage when you need as well. While it feels easy to just power through everyone, this style of SF is not easy to be played. Shadow Shaman had an aneurysm here, allowing Sumail to pop him, but keep watching. As he chases Monkey King, he knows it's too easy for him to get away, so he blinks towards Omni Knight. He only raises after Purification because then he has no cast point to use Repel to reduce the damage, and during the fight he fakes the ult, but then clicks on Omni to see the duration and times the ult as Repel is ending perfectly. It gets cancelled once, but even after it he's able to kill everyone, mainly thanks to his extra armor, stats, and the amount of experience and gold he denied from the Radiant in the mid lane. And just, you know, 5-manning with his team. You need to use that power spike. You can't be just like farming the jungle and thinking that eventually you're gonna win. Well, Sumail had Aegis for most of the time after that fight. He focused in finishing his Linken Sphere, and more importantly, in waiting for his ult to get ready. With this magic damage build, you rely a lot on the Veil plus Requiem damage, as well as the raises, so he makes sure to utilize that power spike properly with Aegis again. He gets a double damage, and that's a great excuse to go for the tier 2, and as he goes for it, there's a fight stop, so that's more of a reason to get tier 3. And we see why the Blink Dagger is so good against the likes of Bloodseeker, heroes that don't have a lot of disables. You can see that he had no vision of him, but he was expecting that pesky dude because everyone was top and like Bloodseeker needs to be somewhere. When he shows up, there's no reactions for Bloodseeker, as long as Sumail blinks in on close range with the Veil. If he stays, he dies because SF won the lane and he right clicks for more damage. And if he runs away, he also dies because of the burst damage. Ults were used top, he still has Requiem, and even though he gets shackled here, he can easily blink away. He ends up dying, but at the cost of buybacks, a tier 3, and you know, a lot of resources being spent overall. One thing you need to know about this style of play is that you have a timing. If you're not proficient with Shadow Fiend, this can be hard to pull off because every death puts you further away from closing the game. You're too reliant on magic damage and any BKBs can hurt you super hard. At the same time, if you're good at SF, it's a great way to farm MMR since you get fast games for yourself. As he gets the souls from dying, they push bottom lane even with Willow dead because they know that Rupture was spent killing Willow. Omni's ult is on cooldown. Sumail's play is out of the charts now. With vision from so many heroes in the mid lane, he has no fear of just right-clicking Omni here, and by blinking in perfectly, he gets the first kill. Charge was already spent as well as Boundless Strike, so that's an easy ult that secures another kill, and since Rupture is down, he blinks in aggressively again, and that's another kill, pretty much the game. In regards to talents, if you're playing this style, having more move speed to keep casting raises and kiting people is very interesting, so I really like his talents. I feel like it fits the playstyle perfectly. Just remember that you can't mess around. Your power spike is huge, but at the same time doesn't doesn't last long if you're playing against decent opponents, at least. Well guys, as of always, this video is sponsored by Pvgna. Those guys are great. They have a ton of new videos, and I'm releasing a new exclusive series for them. It's called The Winners of 7.07, where I explain a lot of why some heroes are stronger and how you can utilize them in your pubs to get more MMR. On top of that, I am coaching via gamersensei now. If you're interested, if you really like the videos and you want to know more about a specific hero or playstyle, be sure to send me a message. Follow me on social media, follow me on Twitch. Hope you guys had a great day, and the next video is gonna be about Morphling, so stay tuned.